bring out, like I said, the first night, like Brother Iverson said earlier today in his class, that the problem is we have to instill in the children the fear and respect of God and the love of God. And well, really the problem, parents these days, well, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of parents these days have become lazy and doing what God expected a parent to do. And so then the responsibility kind of falls on the church. It's like, what is the church? Well, the parents make up the church. So it's like, what's the church doing? What the brothers doing? So I think we really need to, I think if we go on to
That's good. Hold that to tomorrow.
All right. I just want to close with Luke chapter 2 and verse number 52, where the scripture says, "And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man." I always wonder what happened to Jesus as a teenager and a young adult. You know, we have this period where we see him, you know, in the temple with his parents as a preteen, and then we don't hear about him until he starts his ministry at age 30. But this verse right here helped me out a lot. Verse number 52, that tells us what happened with Jesus during that period. He grew. He grew up. He grew up in terms of his intellect. He grew up physically. He grew up spiritually. He grew up socially. When we look at those areas right there, that's how what's going on in the discipline with our young adults today. We got to grow up with them spiritually, socially, physically, intellectually, meeting those needs. That's what we got to do, and I think that's what we're lacking.
Thank you. Give them a hand. They did a wonderful job. And going back and following and see how many people he connected with. So whether or not he's doing what he say, because when you start looking at some of the people in his leadership, are they all old people or you got some people in different ages? Right there. See? Okay, right here, then I come to you. Okay. Yeah, ma'am. That's your son? Okay. Wait a minute.
Brother Moore, I thought that was really sweet.
We can't see you over there.
You can read that? Okay. That was really sweet. Thank you, Brother Moore. When it comes to lessons, especially in smaller congregations, because there are a lot of smaller congregations, when it comes to application of a study, being able to make sure that your lesson applies to the various age groups.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like the one room Sunday schools and you have the various ages. Sometimes you may have a high school, a middle school, and a bunch of primary students. You have to have a lesson that will capture every single one.
Amen.
So when it comes to the general session and the general worship service and the minister is giving his lessons, a lot of those lessons that pertain to life situations that the kids have, they don't even pay bills. So when they sit and you talk about boredom, what happens with denominations, they start doing things to excite people. So now you're being pulled out of the word. And we have all these different extracurricular things to keep their attention. But what we have to do is in our lessons, if you could have things and examples that show these kids how to apply this word to their everyday situation.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as we start, Brother Freeman, you got something you need to say before we, because I know we got way off track this one.
No, not really. It's just out of track. It's just down the track.
Down the track, okay, all right.
But coming up in the church a long time ago, we had the kids sit in the front. Now they sit with families, which is okay, but families are not watching their kids anymore. And kids are watching families are doing everything instead of paying attention to what's going on. Kids follow that example. But let me share this with you. We got to go back. When I say we got to go back, we need not depart from what we were talking about, discipleship.
Right.
The parents, when they come into church, they need to be in orientation class and know there's some responsibility. If you're going to be a member here, there's certain things that you have to do. We don't make them pay tithes, but there's an obligation to pay your money if you're going to be a church member here. How many of us enforce that? You know, give like you want to give. But what I'm saying to you is that if you're going to be a member here, there's certain expectations. And if there's no expectation, there's no following. We have to have some goal setting of what we need to do. Let me move forward. As I said before, we have dismantled our Sunday school. No more Sunday school as usual, because some of the curriculum that we used to have was written for folk who don't look like us.
Right.
God bless you. Good stuff,
Right.
but it don't relate to nothing that got to do with us. And so we got to talk in Sunday school about stuff that relates to us.
Right.
And somebody said it the other day, how to have a checking account, how to save your money, how to set a table for the girls. We have departed from the aged women teaching the younger women how to love their husbands, how to love their children. That's what we need.
Yes.
We got to go back there
To the basics.
and to the basics. And while the church is not the home, the church is the home for the people. It's a spiritual home, and you need to enforce that those who are members here, this is what have to happen in your home. And so we need to teach parenting classes to our parents so that they will know and hold them responsible for what have you done. And if they don't do that, we can't be responsible for their kids if they're not responsible for their kids. But here again, if they're not responsible for their kids, we have to have the surrogate parents and get a release from the parents to say, can we train your kids the way they need to be trained? But we got to go back to the book.
And you know, I know we can spend a lot of time. I want to just make sure as we get close to wrapping up, I want to go through a couple of things and help me. As we sum this up, is families. I think what the group said, and I agree 100%. We have to work with parents and teach parents how to be parents.
Amen.
Okay, and we need to start engaging our older members to be able to that and that whole discipleship thing is so critical to make it happen. I truly believe that as new members are coming into the church, we need to go through a new converse class, and it's not a one-day class. It's a month class, months class. In Northside of Jacksonville, the new conference class is about a year. It's about a year. And because, you know, we had a couple of new members that became added at Northside in Lake City. And the lady came to me the other day and she said, Brother Mobley, when I'm filling out this envelope, where do I put tithe on? Tithe. And guess what? Because we do Church of Christ talks. They don't know. She's been in that church all her life.
Yeah.
And we just assume they just automatically fit in. And so we have to be able to learn how to teach them. And I have found out over the years working with people, especially in urban areas, you think people know how to take care of children. You think people know basic stuff. And there's some basic things people don't know how to do. And we have the church. If we're the church, we have to be able to do that, especially if they are members and we're disciples. We have to be able to do that. So on the families, I think we got to become more engaged with the families. We got to get out of our walls, and we got to get down where these families are, go house to house, and figure out where people are. Give me an example of what I'm saying. I had a young man come into my night basketball program. He'd come every night, and I would take him home every night. And when I got near his house, he said, I get out right here, Brother Mobley. I get out right here. And one night I said, I'm going to take you to your house. I'm taking you to your house. I took him to his house. When I got to his house, everybody in his family was sitting on the front porch. And it was in the middle of summer, so I said, everybody sit on the front porch of this one, that's okay. The next day I went there, everybody sitting on the front porch again. I called them back, come in, let me talk to you for a minute. What's going on? They didn't have any power in the house. And they were sitting on the front porch, but it was too hot in the house. Guess what I had to do? I had to go and help them get power that next day. Because they needed that before I could do anything else with them. That's what people are going through, all kinds of things. Kids are going through some things. We don't know what they're going through. And when they come to our congregation, they have attitudes. Why they have attitudes? We don't know what the attitudes are all about. And we got to help them. So on the families, we're going to have to do more. We're going to get engaged. We're going to get connected with the families to be able to teach the families. On Bible schools, I truly believe we need to start having, if you don't have them, you need to have Bible school train the teachers. We should not be putting teachers in classes over people that are not trained. And if you don't, there's some good trainers out there, and they're Church of Christ, but we need to do that. And I truly believe we need to make sure that what Freeman was talking about is making sure our lessons are relevant. If they're not relevant, we're just wasting our time. You gonna say something, Brother Jackson?
Yes, along with those great ideas, as you said, have events outside of worship and Bible study for them, and many times we feed them. And that is a big issue that some of them may not say that I don't eat at home, but here you all have something, and then it's often provided by some ministry. The brothers Saturday morning ministry is providing food this time. The sisters Thursday night is providing this time. It doesn't always necessarily have to be the church treasury that's providing it, but there are people who would love to provide a meal for the kids here at different times. Also, let's learn. I tell them when I'm preaching, tweet this, post this.
Hashtag.
Yeah, I try to give them something. I call it hashtagable. And they do it. They do it after the sermon. I mean, we look on the social media. It's all the sermon topic, the different things. So they're listening with their phones, and it's my job to give them something worth putting out there. We sit in the hairdresser 5 hours for a perm. We're trying to put a relaxer on your spirit right now. So in these 2 hours, so it needs to be on us to, as we said, provide more good information. Plus, let's be more proactive. And along with those teenagers, 15, 16 years old, we're starting to work with them 5, 6 years old, even before they need. Let's get ahead of the problem and work with that generation. Many times because they're obedient, they're so nice, we don't pay attention to that, but we need to spend that time with them. Brother Moore was instrumental at 10th Ave some years ago with a program with them, and of course, many of you have your own programs, but let's focus on doing things with them also, not instead of the teenagers, but those little kids before they get out there, because usually in the teenage years, 14, 15, 16, they in many cases have their minds made up. But if we start early, that would be helpful. Plus, let's learn best practices. I don't care what the name of the church is. If there are, when I began to write my book, the trainer said, who has written the top selling book in the country on that subject? If you don't know that person, if you don't know that person or that book on stress management, you don't need to write anything. Regardless of the name of the church, the Lord's church is right. The Church of Christ is right. The doctrine is right. But let's see who has the best youth program in the country, regardless of what the name of the church is, and what are they doing. We don't have to take their doctrine, but let's learn from the practices. I don't believe we check to see if a Church of Christ member made this microphone or made that camera or owns this hotel, but we're using it for spiritual purposes. So let's make sure that we do that as well. Learn best practices and put it to the use of the glory of God.
All right. And I see Sister Hopper and Brother Leonard, right? Was that you raising your hand, Sister Hopper? Oh, okay. Just Brother Leonard. So you raise your hand for Brother Leonard.
Very briefly, first of all, I'm not unique and I'm not special. I'm blessed to be in the fellowship with a lot of great people. But one thing I am not is insecure, as the brother said. I'm 55 years old. So when the young people come to me now and want to do something different, I don't hold the line so tight. I just want to make sure it's biblical.
That's right.
I give you an example, very quick, what he just said. My people came to me and said, listen, we got a program, 4 Sundays, Youth Sunday at our church. We got a young church. I mean, even our young people are young. We have young couples, they 30, 35. On the 4th Sunday when I finish preaching, at the end of the service, they have a program that the kids on the screen, they can log in. And it's, you know more about the technology. I don't know nothing about technology, but I let them convince me.
Okay.
They asked them, what was Brother Leonard's sermon today? They all hit their phone, they all logged in. It's about 35 of them. They got the code name on the screen. You might know what it is. And they get to say what my sermon is. And then they say, 15 right, 14 wrong, and they got the code name. And we asked them about 10 questions. What was his 3 points? They give them a choice. And these are young people. And they're just so into it, they want to win. They're listening attentively, writing notes, the whole sermon. My point is, we have to be adaptable.
Yeah.
That don't mean nothing to me. I just know how to call a text. The only reason I know how to text is because maturity. But the young people know how to do everything. So I wanted to fight it, but I didn't fight it because that keeps them interested.
Yeah.
That's their language. So they ask a question like, what did Brother Leonard say? What was Jesus, Brother Leonard said? They asked some obscure question. And every week somebody wins. Okay, and we applaud them and all that. And all I try to do, I'm not special, is when you're talking to the church, you got to talk where everybody understands. I preached a sermon the other week. The topic was keeping it 100. Young people know what that is. But then when I'm preaching, I said, now you old people, y'all know what that means keeping it real. So old people know, oh, okay, I got it now. Okay. So when you're preaching to people, you know, I say a lot of things like, now you got to be over 50 to know this, yeah. You know, and then you got to tie it to where they can get it. And when you can do that, you ain't got to be special to do that. We do it all the time. When you're talking to grandmama, you don't talk to grandmama like you talk to her. My grandmama know as the world turns. She don't know scandal. Okay, so when I start talking about empire and scandal, I say, now, y'all people, y'all know what I said, but you remember Miss Chancellor? I said, that's like that girl on Scandal, you know. So old people say, oh, okay, I know it. So what I'm saying is when you're talking to people, yeah, Miss Chandler, you got to be, Miss Chancellor, Victor Newman and all that, you got to be, yeah, Young and Rest, Erica Kane and all that. But my only point is when you're teaching people, use the Super Bowl. That's what they're watching. We some of the silliest people in the world. Easter Sunday, we don't believe in Easter. What everybody else do? Okay, so since you use what the word is Christmas, we don't believe in Christmas. Use Christmas to teach Jesus. Whatever they're paying attention to, you take that and use it to teach Jesus. Where do you get that from, Brother Leonard? Jesus. Satan going around like a roaring lion. Well, he lived. Lions will run around. We don't understand that language because all our lions in zoos. Okay? But when he lived, you walking down the road to Jericho, here comes Mufasa. Okay? So you have to talk to people about what they understand. So I tell you, yeah, you don't know. So now Satan walks around now like a roaring poo-poo. Or like a Pookie. Yeah, Ray. He's doing like Ray. He should see who he can shoot and devour. All I'm saying is that when you can tie it up, well, young people can get it, but old people don't miss it.
Right.
So my mama, I'm gonna say this up there. My mom is almost 80 years old. This is one of my sons in the gospel. Great preacher. I sent him around to the little church. He grew in that little church. My mom almost 80 years old. My mama old school tradition. We baptized in the 70s. My church is progressive. We got a bass mic, the folk get happy. My mama had to adapt.
Amen.
I said, Mama, don't make me keep this church old till you die.
Yeah.
Because if I do that, when you die, ain't nobody gonna be here but me and you. I said, so when Mama did it, Mama every night they get on her feet, clap her hands, Mama tolerate the new wave. And then I tell them some Sunday, boys, don't sing all that new stuff. Somebody take me at the cross today. Yeah. Somebody sing just a little talk with Jesus. Yeah. So you get the old folk just enough that they're there, and then you let the young people sing that new stuff where they feel like they're involved, and And see, if you just tell them young people, no, that ain't ungodly, well, they'll show you better than you think. And see, what we don't recognize, they get more influence from the internet than they get from you. They're watching the internet preachers more than they watch you. They see other people having good time in church, and we sitting there like we dead or no. And you telling them, but this is the right church, but they say, well, everybody else ain't there. So once you do this, do the best you can. Always stay with the Bible. Yeah. But you got to adapt to the time. So I give the old people enough, give the young people enough, and see what all 400 up there have. That's all I'm trying to do.
That's all right. This young brother got a comment, and we got to wrap up. Yes, sir. Me? No. Oh, me? No, that's it.
Bud Smith.
I really had nothing to say with that, but Leonard basically said everything I needed to say, but it's not really, as to me, in my opinion, it's not as hard as to get with the young folks. To me, you just gotta be consistent of whatever you do. If you're not consistent, it's dead. And that's just real. Stop sugarcoating with these young folks. Like, keep it real, like you said, 100. That's what we like. Tough love, give it to us. We need it. It's simple. Consistent, tough love. It's not that hard. That's all we need. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I really appreciate what you guys have done on this week. I appreciate, I think, as a congregation, as a church, we realize, and I hope we don't walk away feeling that all of our problems are resolved. But I hope we realize that we have, in any organization, an organization is kind of like an organism. It's constantly changing, and we have to constantly adapt to that change. And if we don't, we're going to die. And so we encourage you to start looking at your congregation, looking at and trying to constantly talk to people, examine, look at what other people are doing, and try to get it to the point where we are high-performing congregation. All of us need to be high-performing congregation. And we can do that if we start, just going through and analyzing some things and not be afraid. Not to be afraid to go to our young people. Now, I will tell you what I did is just to tell you how we got the voice of the young people before I started this. I have on my Facebook, if you go out and look at my Facebook, I have over 2,000 Facebook folks. I have a Facebook youth page. And a lot of them are people that I do from Northside, a lot of people I've connected in Lake City, and some young people I work with. I sent them a questionnaire and asked them 3 questions. And the questions were, and you saw Tia answer it, she talked to it instead of replying back to me. But the question was, since I graduated from high school, what has kept me connected to the church? The second question was, what are those things that I feel that the church is doing good? And the third question is, what are those things that I think the church needs to change? You won't believe, Sunday night, they blew up my Facebook page, they blew up my cell phone with the number of responses because they were telling me some things that we need to know. All they need is an ear, and they will tell us. So that's what we need to do. I appreciate you guys so much for being here and so much for being part of this. And truly, I hope as we do these more and deal with different issues, that we'll get better and better, and that we'll be able to help the church grow. Thank you so much.
And if you can't join us, view